Welcome back. Let's actually connect our serverless framework to our AWS profile. Now, the first thing we need to do is go back to AWS, and within our Lambda function, actually all the way back to our dashboard, let's just click over here. In order to configure our profiles, we have to use a service called IAM, and you'll have to use this anytime you use any of the AWS services. And this controls permissions. And in here, I'm going to add a user. And this user, I'm going to say add user. I'm going to call it Rankly. And that should be fine. Let's add Lambda here just so we know it's a Lambda function. And I want to give it programmatic access. That is, it can access our Lambda functions programmatically, but we don't want them to access our management dashboard over here. This is just more secure. We don't need to give it all that permissions. So we hit next for permissions, and you want to create a permission group. So in our case, we're going to attach existing policies that Amazon has already come up with. And if I search for functions or Lambda functions, we see that there's a couple of things that we can do. For now, for demonstration purposes, you have different options and it'll give you access information. I'm just going to use the administrator access, which is not necessarily the best idea in production because that gives you admin access and you might not necessarily want to give that much permission. But you can decide for yourself which permissions you want. When you're just testing though, administrator access is fine. And we'll click next. We want to just review, everything looks good. I'm going to say create user, and there you go. We have success, and it gave us an access key and a secret key that we can now use to connect serverless to our AWS profile. So let's go back to our terminal. And in here, we have to write the command SLS config. And this is something that you just need to do initially. Once you do it, then serverless is already configured for you. We're going to put credentials, and we're going to give it a few parameters. First one is the provider, that is AWS, because remember, I can use Google, I can use IBM, Microsoft, whatever provider we want. And then the next parameter is going to be key. And we're going to give it the secret key that we received here. I'm going to just copy that, the access key ID. So I'm going to pass that in here. And then finally, the secret. And the secret, we're going to say show and copy that and paste it on here. Let's press enter. All right, look at that. We've set up AWS so that now anytime we use the serverless framework, it's attached to this profile on AWS. Awesome. Now, just to show you what's happening behind the scenes, it actually created a folder called AWS, I believe. Or, oops, that's not what we wanted to do. It's in the root folder, and it's a hidden file, so it's got to be AWS. And if we go in here, let me clear this and do ls, we see that we now have a credentials file. And if I open up the credentials file, we see that we have our access ID and access key right in here. So that's how it knows that whenever we deploy or do anything with Amazon AWS, it's going to check this file. All right, let's go back to what we had before. Let's cd into our desktop, and then it was called Rankly. Perfect. All right, that's it. We have our serverless connected to AWS. We're all set to start writing some code, actually have our function do something so that we can use it in our SmartBrain app. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.